Hello and welcome to this special video log on the 4th of July 2012. Greetings from Denmark, Scandinavia, and happy 4th of July to my American viewers. Last year I made a video on the 4th of July in which I talked about I being a fan of American culture, freedom, democracy, the American spirit, American politics. Maybe not so much politics in general, but the idea that American politics, the debate form, the extended freedom, etc., how much I adore that. And how much I also talked about how much it saddened me that because of all these economic hardship you guys are going through, that with homes getting foreclosed, unemployment, and how much that affects America's role in the world, and how much I hope that you guys will return to your former glory and make us all proud and promote democracy and freedom. And yeah, now a year has passed, and yeah, some things are a little bit better, I guess. You guys, or in the United States, unemployment is dropping a bit, and yeah, and not so many homes are getting foreclosed, but you guys still have a long way to go. So I would just like to say we miss you, and we hope that you guys will return sooner than later to your former glory. Yeah, and also this year is the 200th anniversary of the War of 1812, as it's called, where the former colonial masters from Britain wanted to squash the United States, and thankfully you guys defeated the British and then ensured that you guys would remain in the world as a force to be reckoned with. And in some ways freedom is constantly under pressure, both from from many hands. Like we have international world bodies were wanting to impose its will on the democracies of the world, and in these international bodies like the UN, you have countries which aren't interested in increased democracy, and they use the international bodies like the UN to annoy or to make life difficult for the democracies of the world. And yeah, and in my opinion it's important for the democracies to stand together against these other countries, and to show to them that we don't want to get bullied, and we will not stand for it. And yeah, what else is there to say? Here in Denmark, Scandinavia, we have universal healthcare. We have had it for almost. It started in the late 1930s, and it took a break during World War II, and then it started again in the late 1940s and continues to this day. But the trouble with universal healthcare is that it's not the prices of medicine, but because much of the medicine and the treatments used in our universal healthcare system here in Denmark are mostly the cheapest ones, because if you look at the budget, 80% of the expenses used on universal healthcare here in Scandinavia, especially here in Denmark, is for wages for nurses and doctors. And it's easy to do the math that if 80% of the budget is used for wages for doctors and nurses, when there aren't that much money left for treatment and medicine. And yeah, because of this fact, if you look at the statistics here in Denmark, we have these huge waiting lists. And that's one of the difficulties, or one of the issues regarding universal healthcare. That if you use all this money on wages for doctors and nurses, then the only natural consequence is that you put patients on waiting lists. And here in Denmark, people die on waiting lists. and even though we pay these high taxes, people can't get the treatments they need, and yeah, and that's the backside of a universal healthcare system, and therefore I sincerely hope that you guys don't adopt a European Scandinavian national health service model, because it isn't that great in my opinion. It's great on paper, but in practice it isn't functioning, and yeah, and here in Denmark it's falling apart. But if in some ways you guys have started on this path of creating a universal healthcare system, and in some ways this is like when the British in 1812 tried to impose their will once again on the United States, and the United States resisted. Then you can argue, in my opinion, that the idea of a universal healthcare system is the Europeans, or some Europeans, trying to impose their views of society on the United States. And in my opinion, you guys once again should resist this idea, because the European ways of doing things aren't that great. You guys have been inventing new ways of doing things, so you guys should invent your own system, and I hope you do that. And yeah, what else is there to say? Happy 4th of July. I hope you continue to watch my videos, and yeah, and I will return in a couple of days with a review of the amazing Spider-Man. Until then, have a nice day.